Yo, what's up? I just wanted to let you guys know about the Odious Kickstarter campaign. Odious is a new character that I've created and designed, and I'm finally trying to make an action figure of it via Kickstarter, so be sure to go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to check it out. Now enjoy the video. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at these brand new comic book inspired Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Neca. And I'm so hyped up to talk about these figures. I've been very excited about these ever since they were revealed at last year's Comic-Con. A few people got some early reviews recently, and I assumed these things were going to be coming out down the road, but it turns out they started to pop up in stores just a couple of weeks after those initial reviews, and they came out as part of one of NECA's like in-store events with Target, like Haulathon. I'm not sure what this event was called. It was something crazy, but NECA put out like a crazy amount of figures all in one day. I think that was more Target's fault than it was NECA, but in any case, it was a bunch of figures all at once, and it all looks amazing. And eventually I want to get it all, but it was a little too much too fast. But I did want to secure this set because it looks absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. On the front here, we have some really nice looking artwork of the turtles, and I just love what we have going on right here. It's so packed. There's so much things going on. The turtles are fighting all of these Shredder clones. You have Shredder back there, some foot soldiers back there, and some classic Ninja Turtle graphics up front. It says Nickelodeon, and then you could bring this down, and that's where we get a look at the figures themselves. And they look incredible in there. Look at that. And then on the back, we get a look at the figures themselves doing all kinds of cool stuff. And then down here, we get some artwork of some figures that are on the way, some figures that came out as a part of this same event, and some things that came out on the last NECA event that happened, I don't know, like 35 seconds ago. Some really good photography going on. NECA always does a really good job with that. But yeah, enough about this awesome looking box. Let's go ahead and get the turtles out and take a look. Oh, okay, so here we have the 4 turtles right out of their box. And man, I've got to say, God damn it, NECA once again absolutely killed it. These things came out incredible. And I feel like I say that on pretty much every single NECA review. They seem to do a great job on everything that they do, you know? That's why they're one of my favorite brands, because you could feel the love that they put into every single product that they put out. And I'm just so happy that they're the ones doing Ninja Turtles, because they kill it on every single figure. Like I can't think of any figures that were bad. Like sometimes there's things that aren't perfect, you know, there's QC issues or maybe some weird articulation choices. But I think for the most part, like every single thing that they've done is amazing. And when it comes to turtles, like just everything is awesome. I'm so happy with my turtle collection. Anyways, back to these guys. I think these might be some of the best Ninja Turtle figures that we've seen from NECA. The only ones I could think of that I like a little bit more are probably the movie ones. And those things are damn near perfection, so it's kind of unfair to compare to those. But these guys are up there as some of the best turtle figures from NECA. And I love that they did some new things on these figures. Like they have double jointed elbows. We don't usually see that on the turtles themselves from NECA. Some of the other characters in the line have double jointed elbows and knees and stuff, but a lot of times the turtles do not have double jointed elbows. So I'm really happy that we saw that here. And they also have improved torso articulation. So it's nice to see them trying to improve all the time. But yeah, these guys, check them out, man. They look so good together. And I know not everybody loves the all red masks, but I do, because it just reminds me of the old comics, you know? And I like how they did little things to make each character feel different. Obviously, you have the weapons, and that's like the dead giveaway, you know? That's the way that you're able to tell the characters apart. But not only that, each one of them has like a different facial expression that matches the character, you know? Like Mikey's over here smiling, Raph is all pissed off, Leo is like pissed off too, but not as pissed off as Raph, and then Donnie is just serious. So all those facial expressions work for the characters, and I think it does a good job of letting you know who is who. So those subtle differences on the head sculpt really go a long way. And yeah, man, like I said, these figures are just amazing. They're beautifully sculpted. There's a lot of similar parts, obviously. Well, basically, they're all the same body, but they do a lot of things to make things feel different. Obviously, there's the different like belt configurations. Well, just Leo has the different kind of belt, but it makes him feel unique. And then on the front of the turtle shells, there's like different types of markings. And, you know, when you have them all together, obviously they look the same, but once you start like looking a little deeper, things are different. Like there's you know, the black effect lines are in different places on the figures. Not everywhere, you know, like on the arms, they're pretty much the same, but on the faces, they're a little bit different, or on the front of the shells, they're a little bit different. So there's little things that they do here and there to make these figures feel individual, even though they are very similar to each other. But yeah, I love the way these guys look, man. They really did an incredible job. So yeah, like I said, I'm in love with these guys. But let's go ahead and get in closer and take a look at the details on them. And taking a close look at the details using Raph as our example, once again, Neca did an incredible job on the paintwork. I love the way they use these dark lines to give the figures like a hand-drawn kind of effect. And I think it comes across really well on these guys. You can see they use some dark lines to kind of give the eyebrows some attitude, and to show the nose a little bit. And then we have like hash marks throughout. And it really gives it like a hand-drawn kind of effect, you know? I think that Neca are the masters of this whole technique. And it makes the figures just look unique and amazing. Check out all the hash marks throughout. The front of the shell has a bunch of hash marks. And as I mentioned before, Raph's and Leo's are similar with more hash marks, kind of indicating that they fight a little bit more than Donnie and Mikey. But yeah, that looks really good. And then the turtle shell too, check that out. Man, all jacked up. Looks really good. The belt looks nice too. Unfortunately, mine does have a very small imperfection, but you know, it's one of those things where I can't even really see it unless I'm zoomed in with my camera, but right in there you could kind of notice it. Not a big deal, not enough to cry about or anything. But everything else is really clean and very well done. Aside from that little mark on the belt, I think the paint on all these guys is really well done. Leo had a little mark too, but again, nothing major. You know, for the most part, the paint is really, really nice. But man, I love these dark lines. It's such a cool technique, and Neca just does it the best. Got his tail back here that has the lines on it as well. But yeah, look at that. See, that's the kind of stuff, man. I love that. It's like the best way to represent like a comic book figure, you know? Especially like an older, with like an older style, you know, like 80s, 90s kind of stuff. So I love it so much. And it may be hard to see, but there are some subtle differences in the shades of green that they used. Like it's a little dark in certain areas, and then there's like light green. You could kind of see it more on the head. See how it's kind of darker on the top of the head, and then it gets a little lighter down here. So yeah, there's some nice subtle shading in the green as well. But yeah, these figures are beautiful. Very well sculpted, well painted. Just everything about them is it's awesome, man. I just love the way they look. And then for accessories, each turtle comes with their respective weapons. Starting off with Donnie, he does get his bow staff, and I think they did a nice job with this. I think the paint style matches the style of the figure very well, and I really like how they painted the wrap on the center of the bow staff a different color from the wood part. It kind of makes it look more interesting. And then Michelangelo does come with his nunchucks. Not a whole lot going on with these. The handles are a little plain. There's no details or anything. There is a string that kind of holds them together, so that's nice. So even though, you know, there's not a whole lot going on with these things, I do think they do the job very well. And I really like the way they look when they're tucked into his belt. So I like these a lot, even though there's not a whole lot going on. And then Leonardo does come with his two katanas, and these are really nice too. Once again, the paint style matches the figure very well. And I like the way they painted the blade in a two-tone style. It kind of gives it the illusion that it has like a reflective look. Obviously, it's not painted in any type of metallic paint. It has a very matte finish and, you know, very muted colors. But having that two-tone kind of makes it look like it's shining or something. So that's awesome. And then Raphael does come with this sai, and these look really good too. The paint matches the style of the figure, and they definitely do the job. And I really love the way that he looks with them tucked into his belt too. So that's nice. And then Raphael gets some additional accessories. He actually comes with the interchangeable arm, and this arm has an additional wrap around the bicep. And then he also comes with this hood that you could put on him. So that's awesome. It gives Raphael a completely different look. And to me, it makes total sense that they would give Raphael additional accessories because obviously he is the best Ninja Turtle. And then there are some other accessories that all of them kind of share. We get some extra hands. We have a set of flat hands, a set of open hands, an additional set of gripping hands. I think these are kind of exclusively for Raphael because the sai can go between the fingers. And then we have a pair of fists. Unfortunately, we only get one of each of these sets of hands. So it's not like we could have all of them with fists on or all of them with open hands. So that does kind of suck. It would have been nice to get enough of each one of these hands to have on the figures at the same time, you know. And then we do get these interchangeable mask pieces, and these could be used to make it look like the mask is kind of like flying behind them or something if they're in the middle of a fight. So it's nice to have the two different options. You could use these that do kind of have a dynamic look, or you could use the other mask piece where it just kind of looks like the back of the mask is just resting on their shoulders. So I think that is nice. And then we do get these ninja star things. I think they're ninja stars. I'm not 100% sure. They kind of look like little gears, huh? But I do believe there's some type of ninja stars. Let me know in the comments exactly what these are called. I'm sure there's a different name for them, but it's nice to get those kind of weapons. So I'm pretty happy with the accessories that they come with. I do wish that we had more hands, but aside from that, I think we pretty much have everything. I think it would have been a genius move to give additional head sculpts with the different colors for the turtles. I think that would have made people pretty happy. I love the all red, and I'd be down to buy these if they re-release them with, you know, colored masks. But I think it would have been freaking amazing if they included interchangeable heads with the different colors for each turtle. I think that would have been nice. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with the accessories. And then let's go ahead and get into a bunch of size comparisons. We're just going to use Leo for these comparisons because obviously all the turtles are the same size. But here we have them alongside the Neca cartoon Donatello and the Neca movie Michelangelo. And then next we have the Neca Leonardo alongside the Super 7 Leonardo and the SH Figure Arts Leonardo. And then here we have Leo alongside the Neca Archie Comics Slash and the Neca Archie Comics Man Ray. And these two figures really put me on to the whole Archie Comics versions of the Turtles. And I had a lot of fun reading those comics. So I'm going to need to go check out the IDW comics so I could get more familiar with these specific Turtles. I've read some of the IDW stuff, but not a whole lot. But I definitely want to dive in more after getting these figures. And then next up we have Leo alongside the Neca Usagi Yojimbo and the Neca Cartoon Master Splinter. And I would love to get a more comic book accurate Usagi Yojimbo. I know they did a black and white re-release for one of their holothon events, and that one was pretty cool, but I would like a more accurate comic version. I do have the recently released comic book version of Splinter, and I do look forward to opening it. Haven't done it yet, but it looks amazing. Next up we have him alongside the Archie Comics Jaguar and the Neca Last Ronin. And then here we have him alongside the Neca Shredder and the Fury Toys Spring, aka Bootleg Leo. I love that little figure, man. That thing is awesome. And then next up we have him alongside the Neca Mirage Comics Casey Jones and the Neca Mirage Comics Fugitoid. And I think these look really good together. Obviously, they're from different comic worlds. You know, one is Mirage and one is IDW. But I think they work very well together because they kind of have a similar tone, you know. They're a little bit more serious and stuff. So, you know, even though they're not exactly from the same universes, I think that you can mix them up pretty well and they fit together naturally. And just to step out of the turtle world before we get out of here we have Leo alongside the Mafex Nightwing and the Mafex Hush Batman. And then next up we have him alongside the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Captain America and the Sentinel Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. And I kind of wanted to throw him in here because I feel like he's got a very stylized look, obviously, and it looks kind of cool next to the Turtles. So there might be some crossover potential there that'll work in a pretty natural way. And then last but not least, of course, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And then using Donnie as the articulation example, the NECA Turtle figures don't necessarily have like an excessive amount of articulation. I think they have pretty good articulation, and there's definitely enough there for the Ninja Turtles, and there's enough there to have a lot of fun with. And I'll say that these guys probably have the most articulation that we've seen from NECA's turtle figures. So I'm really happy to see that they made some improvements. And overall, even though there's not an excessive amount of articulation, I'm having a lot of fun playing around with these guys. You could definitely get them into some cool poses. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on, starting off at the head, as always. His head is on a ball peg joint, so we get some tilt action, which is nice. Could look side to side. There we go, side to side. He could look up to about right there, and then they could look down to about right there. I do wish that there was movement at the lower neck. It would have made this a lot better, but as it is, we do get some pretty good movement. And then for the torso, thankfully, they made some improvements to the torso. So we do have a joint like at the waist area, and it gets some pretty nice movement. It's like a double ball peg situation. There we go. So yeah, it could go to the side a really good amount. It's always tricky for the articulation on Ninja Turtle figures in the torso area because they have the shell and then this piece here. But I think Neca did a pretty good job with it here. It's definitely an improvement over what we've seen in the past. See that? It goes to the side a really good amount. And then it could go forward. I mean, it could kind of go forward. I don't know. This is kind of complicated because, oh, there we go. It could go forward to about right there, but obviously the chest piece kind of hinders the articulation. But some pretty nice movement forward. Again, all things considered, I think it's pretty good. And then you can obviously swivel side to side on that joint as well. So, you know, obviously the design of the turtles doesn't really lend itself to really good articulation in the torso area, but I think that Neca did a pretty good job with what they were dealing with here. And it's, like I said, it's an improvement over what we've seen from them in the past. So that's nice. I think there's definitely enough going on there. So I'm good with it. And then for the arms, we have ball joints at the shoulders that do go all the way around. And they come up to about right here, but it is a little tight in the shoulder area. So if you want to get his arms to go higher than that, you probably have to swing them around like that. But then you can't really bring them down. So you can't really get them to that middle area there. And let's see what else we have going on. You could bring them to the front, only to about right there. So not a whole lot. But you could get them into some boxing poses. So I'm good with it. Bam. Not really going to be able to get them into like cross-punching type of things. I mean, you can, but it's going to be pretty limited. Yeah, it's going to be kind of tough. So a little restricted in the shoulder area. And then they do have upper bicep swivel. They have awesome double jointed elbows. Check this out. Boom, look at that. It's got to be some of the best elbow joints that we've seen on a Neca turtle figure. And then we have a swivel at the wrist, and there's also a hinge in there. So pretty good there. And then for the legs, I always love how Neca does their legs because they do a really good job of hiding the upper thigh cut. It's hidden underneath the thigh there. So as you can see, it rotates a really good amount and you can't see anything. And then you could kick his leg forward to about right there. And the chest piece does get in the way a little bit, but that's still okay. They can kick to the side a pretty good amount though. Look at this. Boom. You could definitely get him in some nice kicking poses. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Bam. Yeah, so the kick to the side is pretty nice. And can't really kick back all that much, only do about right there. And then they do have pretty nice double jointed knees. Check this out. Boom. It's a little restricted because of the knee pad, but still pretty good. And then at the foot, we have rocking ankles, and then they could go forward to right there, and then come up to right there. Maybe a little bit more if you push it, but yeah. And then obviously rocking side to side. So yeah, like I said, you know, I don't think the Neca Ninja Turtles necessarily have the most articulation ever, you know, but as far as like what you could expect out of the turtle designs, I think it gives you pretty much what you need, you know. I think the only turtle figures that are super articulated are like the Revoltech ones, and you know, that's their main focus, the articulation. And I think the SH Figure Arts ones have pretty good articulation as well, but I mean, it's pretty much in the same ballpark as like this, I would say. Maybe just a little bit more. I think they have like drop down hips and things like that. So a little bit more going on, but I feel like they function pretty much the same. But yeah, I would say that the articulation on these figures is pretty good. Not amazing or anything. Definitely good considering what we have going on, and definitely the best that we've seen from Neca for their turtle figures. So I'm happy with it. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I'm sure it's pretty clear how I feel about these figures, but just in case it isn't, I absolutely freaking love these things. They came out so good. Once again, Neca is on a killing spree when it comes to turtle figures. They do a great job all the time. And I just love how much ground they cover, you know? They give us a lot of stuff from the cartoons, from the movies, from the comics, different eras of comics. They're killing it when it comes to turtles and everything pretty much, but especially with turtles. They do such a great job, man. And these guys are some of the best that they've done so far. I absolutely love the way they look. I'm not 100% familiar with the comics that these versions of the turtles come from, but I think these really remind me of just classic Ninja Turtles. Obviously, they don't look like the Mirage Turtles or anything like that, but they still kind of give me that vibe, you know, because these figures feel very grown up and serious. They don't feel silly at all. And then they have like the matching masks, of course. That's something that's very classic Turtles, you know. So I like that a lot. And, you know, as much as I like the red masks, I think it would have been really cool to include the colored masks as well. That way you could put them on there and these could be like your definitive Ninja Turtles, you know. That would have been a nice option to have. But I understand that they were going with the comic version, and in the comics they have the matching masks. So I'm good with it. I love it, but I could see how people would want the colored masks too, you know. Hopefully they re-release these with those masks. I'd be totally down for that. But yeah, man. I'm really happy with these guys. I think they look amazing, really well sculpted. Paintwork is pretty good. I do have a couple of imperfections here and there, but nothing major. I think for the most part, everything looks really good. The figures feel nice too, although out of the box, some of the joints were a little bit stiff, so I did have to warm things up, but nothing felt like it was in danger of being broken or anything like that. So that's always nice. Accessories are cool too. They do come with the weapons that they need and the hands. It would have been nice if we had some more hands. And like I said, it would have been cool if we got those other masks as well. But aside from that, I'm really happy with the accessories. And as far as articulation goes, you know, obviously there's not a whole lot going on, but I think there's enough for the turtles. And, you know, most importantly, these figures are a whole lot of fun to play with. I love that Neca has made improvements on the articulation setup on their turtles with the torso and the double jointed elbows. I would like to see them improve the shoulders a little bit, but for the most part, I'm having fun with them and I'm happy with the articulation. And yeah, man, just overall, this set is incredible. I'm just, like I said at the beginning, I'm completely in love with it. And it's going to be hard for something else to top this as far as like my favorite release of the year so far. I say that now because I'm looking at them. I'm sure if I look around, there's things I like more. But man, these things right here definitely have my mind and heart in their hands at this moment. But yeah, they came out great. Once again, Neca is doing an incredible job with the turtle stuff, and I just appreciate everything that they do with this line. You know, they put so much into it, and it's evident in every single release. But yeah, these guys came out great. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.